Oh, so now we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Cesar Ramirez, your MCPPD of ISEC in Sweden. So welcome to another webinar of Get the Gold. So in this third edition, we're going to be talking about how to approach new customers. And for that, we have another very special Fassi, all the way from Egypt. So I will just let her introduce herself. So.
Hello everyone, it is really a pleasure to be participating with you in this webinar, and I really hope that the knowledge that you're going to get today will be useful for you and for you to get the goal that you're getting this series of sessions. So first I will start with introducing myself. My name is Gihad Ismail. I'm Egyptian. I'm 23 years old and I study clinical pharmacy in Cairo University. I was LCBP IGB in Cairo University, and currently I'm PD manager in ISEC in Egypt. I will be giving you today the session for you to understand the importance of approaching customers and the best technique to do so, to make sure that from this approach you can ensure getting a meeting. And the tricky part is that people do not look at this phase as the most important thing, and they think that they take it too easy and they don't prepare for it. While actually, this is considered one of the most important phases of the whole sales process. And for me, I would say that opening a deal is as important as closing a deal. And that is for so many reasons. So the first approach, why is it so important? The thing is that the first impression, it always lasts. And when it is the first time for you to speak to any partner, whether it is a cold contact or a warm contact, whatever they think of you is going to last for a very long time, and it's very hard to reverse it. So you need to make the best of it. And also because you have a market research and you have a very limited number of leads, no matter how big your market research is, it is still a limited number, countable. So you need to ensure the best conversion as much as possible from the contact to get a visit. So if you start wasting leads because you're doing the first step of approaching the partners or the prospect in not a very professional way or not in the best way possible, then you're wasting your leads. And then by the time you find that you've contacted all the list that you have got, you have not converted any of them, or at least very few of them, into successful business. So what's the key to have a successful first approach? You need to understand this. There's the 5 P's, which is proper, planning, prevent, support, and performance. So the main idea is that you need to plan very properly for this first approach, and then you can expect results. So the question is, how can you prepare for the first approach? Well, some people are very pro to planning everything, and then other people are more into improvising. But there are things that we plan anyway, and then you can improvise in the way you do it. But at least you need to have the knowledge and to know what exactly you're going to tell your client. So here are the 3 questions that we ask ourselves before we approach the client. First question is that this contact or this prospect, who is he? Like who is their identity? What do they present? What is their industry? What do they do? And what are their problems? Why do we ask this question? Because it leads us to the next question, which is what? And what exactly are you going to sell them? And why is the product that is going to be relevant? We ask these questions because if you don't have these answers, then you'll have nothing to tell them and you will not convince them in the first approach to get them. And the last question is why. Why would this person want to meet you? You need to focus on hitting the key. You already researched, you know the problems that they might have and how your product is going to solve the problem. If they understood your product, then and if they at least not understood your product fully, but if they are convinced that you would have a product that would solve any of their problems and could be relevant to them, then most probably you're going to succeed in getting them. When we approach context, sometimes we have calls and sometimes we have emails and sometimes we have both. For me, I usually prefer having the first approach as a phone call, but you guys are free to do whatever makes you the most comfortable. So I'll talk about both channels and how you can approach the partner, whether it is a phone call or an email. If you want to have a very successful phone call, after preparing the questions that we have in the previous slide, you need to get a pen and paper, and then you need to write down all the key questions that you might want to ask in this phone call. And then you need to rehearse your opening line. So for example, it's going to be, hi, is this blah blah person from company blah blah. This is my name, I'm from ISIC, and I'm calling because we want to have a partnership with before you call the person. And after you know what exactly would be relevant to them, like what are you offering them? Are you offering them GT or a conference or an event, or like I'm talking because any salesperson is listening to this, not only GT, this is important for everyone. So after you write down your key questions and your opening lines, you need to set your sales objective. So do you want this person to help you in what exactly? What is this partnership is going to be about? Because they will ask you these questions, and if you're not prepared with the answer, most probably they will not take you seriously and do not convert this phone call into a meeting. And then, some people perform better times than others, and if you're in your best mood when you go to the office the first thing in the morning, then start your phone call then, but make sure that it's a suitable time to call your prospect in your country. For example, people, they take a lot of time in their work to, like, they have breakfast and drink their coffee, and then I think they need 2 hours until they'll be capable of receiving a phone call. So for me, I will never make a phone call before 11 or 12. I know it's late other countries, especially European countries, but that's how it is in Egypt. And most probably, if I call before that, either the person will not listen to me properly, or they will not be interested, or they'll be grumpy. So I choose the peak of the people and not my peak. But if you prefer speaking better in very early in the morning when you first go to office, better than later in the afternoon or something like that, then do it in the time that's more suitable for you. And make sure that you're sitting in a place that is not interrupted. There is no disturbance from the outer environment, so that you can focus properly with the person you're speaking to, and that you can understand everything they're saying, and make sure that you don't miss any point from the conversation. When it comes to an email, it's a little bit tricky because people can very easily ignore your email. They can just skip it. They might even do it not on purpose. They might not even open the email. They might not read it. So that's the tricky part about the email, and that's why I don't prefer it much, because it might have lower conversion than phone call. However, if emails work better in your country, then definitely go for it. But for me, I would send an email asking for a phone call. Like, you can send an email not to schedule a visit, but to ask them, hey, I got your email, we're ISIC, and we're interested in a partnership with you, and we'd love to call you whenever it's possible. So please tell me when would that be possible, and when exactly, and send me an email. that should be the main context of the email. However, you don't want your email to sound as a spam or like it's the same email you're sending to all your prospect list. It needs to be more personalized. So the person who's receiving the email needs to feel like this email is sent special for them. It's not a broadcast. And that's very tricky because it's very hard to personalize on an email. Like on the phone, you can sound warm, you can sound friendly, you can sound positive and all of that. But in an email, to do so. So that's the tricky part. And what I recommend is that, for example, if you've got this person as a reference, or like you would refer to that person from an alumnus or a friend or from another company, you can mention that in an email so it can like personalize the email a little bit more. You can tell them, for example, hi, it's me, Giyad. I got your contact from this person. I know that you're an alumnus with ISEC. It's very nice to have our people working everywhere, and then you can make the email sound more personalized and, as I told you, less like spam. And another trick that works most of the time is that when you add a testimonial, people don't want to feel that they're being sold something or that we're tricked to buy something, and they want to think other people tried that and it worked. If you, for example, have got, or for example, are inviting them to sponsor a certain event or to host some interns, mention that in the email that you have had, we want you to come like blah blah who has hosted, for example, international interns in their entity and was very successful. We want to do that with more Swedish companies, and you can talk about other experiences of other entities with, who have partnered with ISEC before, and that would make them feel more safe to start dealing with you or talking to you and proceed with the partnership. The most important thing about the email is that you don't want it to make it very tall or very long, because you don't want them to lose focus and miss the main point. The main point of the email is to get their contact. The main aim of the email is to set a meeting, and to want to do it through email, then make it also clear. You don't want the person to get lost and then you explain everything about ISEC, you explain everything about the partnership, and then they feel lost, like, okay, now what do you want me to do? Make it easier for them to reply to your email. It's a simple question. Please, I need your contact and when I should call you, so they can reply, okay, this is my phone number, and call me at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So it's easy for them to identify the question and they can answer it directly. Now we get into the most important part. We have prepared for the phone call. Now you know everything about the company. You have done your research. You know what they're looking for and how exactly ISEC can help them in achieving their problem or in solving their problem, achieving what they're aiming for. So the part comes where you actually have to do the phone call. You're ready. You're in your best form, and you're having an environment that would help you to do a phone call. Now talking to the phone call, you have to do the call in order to get the meeting. A lot of people, they're a bit self-conscious. They're very hesitant before they do a phone call. I know it's not the best part of the sales process, but you have to do it anyway. I know sometimes rude people might answer. Actually, you might not even reach the person because they're very long. If you like to reach him, you need to ask the secretariat first and wait for him to call you back and things like that. But you have to do the call anyway. So as you see, the unicorn in the side where the magic happens is in the call. So remember that this is important for you to reach the objective. We have one objective that we want a meeting. We want a meeting. So if you get a meeting from the phone call, then it's successful. If you did not get a meeting, but they're still interested, then it might be successful, but it might take longer time. You just have to be patient throughout the process. Now we get into the call. When you call the person, make sure that you already know all the things that you want to say. As we said before, you have to be fully prepared. So the first thing, you need to introduce yourself and your entity. So I'm Gihit from ISIC, and then make sure that you mention their name and their company. So once they say hello or something, say, is that Stephen from PNG? And then they say yes, then you can proceed. Maybe this is not Stephen, and maybe Stephen went to another company, he's not in PNG anymore. Maybe you're working 6 years old. So you need to make sure of this person information before you proceed with explaining and talking about what you're offering, because it wouldn't be very nice. I fall into that trap in the beginning of my team experience, and I'm telling you, it's not nice. So you start, you make sure that you mention their name and their company so that you're not speaking to the wrong person, and ask them if they know ISIC. Some people will tell you yes, even though they know nothing about ISIC. They might just heard about it before, or think it's a travel agency or something like that. So if they tell you yes, we know ISIC, then you could ask, so what do you know about ISIC? They'll tell you what. Maybe they know everything. Maybe they're ISIC alumni, so they don't need any explanation. And maybe they don't know anything. So if they know everything, or they've been in ISIC before, they have dealt with ISIC as partners before, maybe you don't need to explain everything, but you just need to explain the purpose of the phone call. And they know ISIC, but they have some wrong information. Try to clear out the wrong information, but in a decent way. Like, you don't have to go and tell them no, what you know is wrong. No, you should not deal with them in that way. But just tell them, okay, I'd like to explain to you more about what we do. ISIC is a good organization. We focus on exchange, and we can partner by offering you international talents from around the world. And I'd like to have a meeting to talk to you about that. So make it as simple as possible. And you don't need to complicate things, because either way, you're going to supposedly meet with that person, and you can then explain everything in details. But over the phone, they just need to know they need to know an overview of the organization, and not everything about the organization, and not all your products. Because we don't only do exchange, there are other amplifying products that you could sell, like events and conferences and social media campaigns and things like that. But that are the things that you can discuss later on the meeting, when you actually understand more of what would be most relevant to you. Because bear in mind that till this point, all you know about the company is just from your research. It's not something that someone from the company has told you. You have studied, you've done your homework, you've tried so hard to collect as many information as possible. But of course, there are more information that you still need to know when you go to the actual meeting. So now you have explained a little bit about ISIC, and then you need to ask for the meeting with a brief of why you would want to meet them, as I told you in the example. So you will not give too much information, but you will just tell them, I'm calling from ISIC. ISIC, we are a global organization. We're present in more than 128 countries, and we do exchange. And we're calling you because we would like to have a partnership. And we think that international talent would be very useful in your company, and you would expose your company to different cultures, and blah, blah, blah. And I'd love to have a meeting with you to talk more about this topic in UGB free. When would you be free? And then that's the tricky part. You shouldn't tell them when would you be free and stop. You should complete the question with when would you be free. Is it better to have it on Monday or Wednesday? Because if you give them two options, they most probably choose one of them. And if they're not free on Monday or Wednesday, they tell you, let's make it Thursday, it's better for you. But if you tell them, can we meet or not, they might very easily tell you not because you gave it as an option. So the best way to, it's like, if subconsciously, when the person does not have the option, they will not choose it. Just make sure that you're asking the question in the proper way. Give them two options that they can choose from, and then you will most probably get the meeting. And then there's a question that all of us think of. Should I break the ice over the phone or not? Well, I'll tell you from my experience, which has not been long, like the first time for me to work in PZ. I've been in ICX, so yeah, I've met with a lot of parties before, but PZ is a bit different because you meet with people from multinationals and from higher positions. And I would say that it depends a lot about your personality and the personality also of the person that you're speaking. So there are some partners that they seem very tough from their voice. They seem that they're not interested, or that they're not free at the moment, or they're not willing to make a joke or laugh with you. So if the person sounds too professional, then you need to behave in the same way that they are behaving. But you find some other people who are extremely friendly and extremely open, and they like, you can make a joke with them. And what I mean is that if you broke the ice in the phone call, you are more probably be able to get a meeting, because if the person likes you, they would like to help you and they would like to meet you. Like I'll share with you my experience. Last week, I was calling a person from a bank, and coincidentally, this person, she was EP with Isaac, and she did not travel and she did not take her refund. So she was like, I don't, you're Isaac. I tried to travel with you before, but I couldn't. I had an accident, and then we kept talking about Isaac, which is not the reason I'm calling at all. I'm calling to get a meeting, remember? However, she wanted to speak, so I listened. And you should, this is something that you need to note down. You should never interrupt the person when they're speaking. Even if they're going to say something that you know, do not complete their sentence. Make them say everything you have and take notes. Make sure that you write after them, because if you forgot something after the phone call is over, like you wouldn't call them back and ask them, you said something and I forgot it. Just write everything down. So this person that I'm talking about, she kept talking about Isaac and her experience when she was in the university, and that she was very angry. And we kept talking and talking, and like she was talking to me as a friend now, because I was listening to her. And then I was telling her about when I was also at EP and how much I wanted to have it. And then it turned into a very friendly talk. And this person who was one day attractive for Isaac, she ended the call telling me, I really, really want to help you. I'm actually not the person in the department that you're looking for, but I'll get you the contact and I will send it to you, and I'll make sure that I support you in everything that you need. Remember that in the beginning of the phone call, this person was the person who did not like Isaac. But a little bit of breaking the ice in the phone call, it doesn't hurt anyone, unless that person might be offended or they're a bit older than we are, even though some older people have a very good sense of humor, even that is an hour. But make sure that you do not offend the person that you're talking. If they're too professional, then you just keep the same vibe of professionalism. But if they seem friendly to you, then try to be a bit like funnier, chill in the phone call and talk to them as genuinely as you can. Be very honest with them. They will appreciate your honesty. And like some people, like they don't understand what the partnership is, and then they ask me, actually, do you need money to do this partnership? And then I make a joke about it, and then I tell them, yes, of course, we need funds from the organization. And we're young and we're students and blah blah blah. And then when we talk about it, then it's something that not everyone would like to say in a phone call, but if you put it in a way that is not too serious, like sugarcoat it around joking and so on, people would accept it better, in a better way. So that was my advice about breaking ice. I think it really works with people, like they want to help you more, even if it's not in their hands, if they like you as a person. And most people, they like funny people, so try to bring the ice a little bit over the phone, and then you're most probably going to get your. Now it's time for Q's and A's. If you have any questions.
Hey, Hat. Maybe a question that you can answer for us. How do you think is the most effective way to getting contact, like the right contact from a company? For example, when you know, do you want to approach this company, but how do you know where to get the right contact, the right person, and how to get their contact details?
Okay, yes. So actually getting the contact itself is one of the hardest part of the sales process, because you don't know where to search and you don't know where to find it. What works with me the most is I get a lot of help from other people, and not in ISIC, outside of ISIC, who also work in the sales field. So they have already their market research, and sometimes they help me with giving me some context of what they have. So that's one source, finding someone from the same field. Another thing is the alumni database. A lot of our alumni, ISIC alumni, actually now work in a lot of big corporates, and they would love help ISIC, even if they're not in the department that you're looking for. Like if you want to speak to someone from HR and they're in sales or marketing, they'll help you get into contact. And the third thing is a referral. Like for example, if you ask on Facebook or your friends may have a lot of connections, if you're not working with that company, can you please send me their number? And it's very easy. I don't know if it's in Egypt, but when you actually look for a number in certain company, because people around us are working places. And also another thing that from LinkedIn you can get the name of the person and their profile. You wouldn't get their number or email, but you can send them a message. You can connect with them, and then after sending them a message in LinkedIn, you can ask them for the number. This process might take longer time because they might not reply you right away, but you should also give it time. Most of the time it works. And sure that you utilize friends, your members, and your LC. Like if you just made a Google form and you sent it to all the members in your LC, and you ask them to write names and numbers of people who works in all companies that they know, you would have a market research. So just make sure that you utilize all the resources that you could have, and like I'm sure if you try the best you can let the company.
Okay, that's very good insight. Okay, I think we have another question coming. Just a moment. Well, in the meantime, which are your best icebreakers?
The icebreakers I tell you about my experience more, because like that's the only thing that I can get back to. So for example, one of the things that has been happening to me a lot is that you call a partner once and then they tell you, okay, we're not free now, can you call us later? That's a tip that I forgot to talk to you about. If they can you call me later, just don't tell them yes and hang up. Tell them, of course I can call you later, but please tell me when. And then you get an appointment for another phone call, so they need to commit to it. And then you don't feel like you're too pushy or too noisy that you're calling this person over and over again, because you actually got this invitation from the person that you have called. So that okay, call me tomorrow at 5. So you call them at the same time. What has been happening to me that, for example, I've been calling a prospect for a whole week, every day after they told me yes, call me. I called them and they never answered. And then when like the week after, they called me back, and then they were that person was apologizing, and I wasn't free, and then we made a joke about that. It's like, okay, I know I was so pushy. I called you every day. It's like my daily routine. Call you, and then I made fun of myself so that we can break the ice and don't make it awkward to both of us. And this person, they were very friendly with me after that, and like we talk to each other like we've known each other for so long, even though until today I have not met this person, but it's not as hard to talk to them anymore. I don't feel self-conscious or afraid, or when you've been pushing too hard in sales, and then you feel like, no, I don't want to be that pushy. No, don't make it seem like that, and just take it lightly. If you take it lightly, people will be more accepting of it. Especially that when you pointed out, like I was like telling that person, I've been calling you every day, like this is the thing that I do when I get to my office, and we laughed about it, and he kept apologizing a lot, and it all went fine. Another thing way that you can use to break ice over the phone is that, for example, you can if that person has been in ISIC before or have heard about ISIC, you can ask, or like a lot of times Egypt when I call a cold contact, sometimes they turn out to be ISIC alumni. And then we keep talking, which year, which function, do you know that person? This is the same function that I used to work on. And then we have a common interest now, which is ISIC, and then we talk about it. If that person has not been in ISIC, then you can talk generally about, you can ask them, well, have you been in student activity before? Then you probably know what we're doing in ISIC, and fundraising is the most difficult part, and I really hope you can help me with that. And then you can also find a common interest, because, of course, like most of the people have been in student activities when they were in university, so that will be a common topic that they can relate to. And they would say, yeah, I know the struggle, I've been there, good luck. And then they'll be actually more supportive because they've put themselves in your shoes. They remember the old days when they used to be the person who was running after companies, and now they are the companies. So they'd be more helpful, and they want to support more, even though they're not even active alumni. I hope this helps.
Great. Yeah. We have another question from one of our VPs. So he says, hey, thank you for your beautiful presentation. As you said, first impression is the most important one. At times, this becomes the biggest hurdle to cross over. How do you suggest we get over this first step?
Can you repeat the question again?
Well, basically, it's about they say that the first impression is the one that counts. So, how do you make sure? What do you do in order to cause a good impression?
The one trap that I don't want to fall in is that if you're not prepared. So, for example, if you want to leave a good impression, you need to be very well aware of your product, of ISIC, of what you can offer this person. You need to know to make sure that they understand that you have done your research, that you're not just calling to waste their time. Because if they get to feel that you don't know what you're doing, they will not take you seriously, and they will be very disappointed. But for example, if from the call you show that I know that you offer IT solutions and to make softwares for companies, and I believe that we can find you interns from countries. So if they get the hint that you have done your homework, did your research, then that's the person to leave first. A good impression on you. Other than the knowledge that you have and the preparation, is the way that you speak to this person. Like, make sure that you're nice, you're likable, you're light on the call. Like, it's not nice, for example, if you're talking in a way like that's not. I would not say professional because I'm not too professional myself. I prefer the friendly approach more, but just also don't go extreme. Like don't go too rude or too flexible. Just make it a little bit because just having your shoes, I'm sure phone calls. You don't want to be one of those people. You want to be different. So try to stand out in your phone call. Leave an impression anyway. Uh, I, how to make it good is it depends on your unique, like what's your strength, what's the best about you. Like when you do a phone call, what's the comment that you get the most from your teammates or your team leader? For example, I'm more of like improvising person. I'm more positive and light spirited, and my teammate is very professional. So both of us, like we do a balance. Like he gets his calls very well because he's very professional and he's very polite, and I also do my calls very well because I'm very friendly, and people like to have a joke. Like they don't feel like they're having a hard time or they're annoyed by the call. They feel like okay, it's very chill and it's nice, and it's not like you're a robot or you're reading a script or something like that. No, it's just very genuine and very natural and from the heart. And people most probably would like the way you're speaking.
Great. So perfect. Thank you very much. I think we don't have any further questions. So it was a very good session. Thank you for all your sharing of all your amazing experience. By the way, Heidi has spoken really really well about you. So she wasn't joking, as I see. So
Thank you so much. It was really my pleasure to share this with you, and I really hope that people have benefited from this session.
perfect. So for all of those that are watching us, thank you for joining. Or if you're watching this from the recording, thank you as well. Have a nice day, and I'll be getting soon back to all of you to let you know which is going to be the next session, and also make sure you on next Monday you check the newsletter to know who's winning on the Get the Goal competition. So see you everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.